Hello and welcome to the Lion's Den. My name is Robert Love. I'm a neuroscientist. I specialize in helping people prevent Alzheimer's disease with science, and I'm so excited and grateful to be here with you. I call this the Lion's Den because this is where you, evolving lions, come and we share knowledge, we support each other, we love each other, and we talk about brain health. My hair's a little bit poofy up here. There we go. I guess that's a little bit better. So, my name is Robert Love. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. Please consult a competent, and I stress competent, medical professional before doing anything that affects your health. If you are just arriving, please put your first name and where you are from in the chat. And if you are an evolving lion, give me a roar. Hi, Francis, or hi, Francesca. Francesca, beautiful name. And if you want to ask a question, please, Sophia from the Philippines. Hi, Sophia. You were on Friday. Great to see you. And this is the first time I'm live streaming on both TikTok and YouTube Live at the same time. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully nothing blows up. Hopefully just things go well. Hi, Anna. Francesca from Toronto. I'm a Bengals fan. Awesome. Awesome. Go Dogs. Donna from Jamaica. Donna from Jamaica. Vicky. Supplements for weight loss. That's an interesting name. I'll get to questions in a moment. Javon from California. Wow, you still remember me, of course. Travis. Matt from Utah. Hey, Dr. Love. Hi, Matt. Teresa from Utah. Hello, Don. So if you're just arriving, please put your first name, where you're from in the chat. And if you are an evolving lion, give me a roar. Evolving lions are because, number one, we are here to evolve. We're here to get better and help other people get better. Number two, we look to our evolutionary past to inform our current diet. So what did our ancestors eat? Number three, we like lion's mane. Lion's mane is shown to increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which facilitates the growth of new brain cells, new neural connections. It's one of my favorite supplements. And I hope you're considering taking it because it's very helpful. Please consult your medical doctor. We got Don from Toronto. Hello from Cali. Hi, Chantal. We got Kim from Alabama. Rochelle from Indiana. Zara from Birmingham, UK. Mindy, roar. Roar to you, Mindy. That's our first roar tonight from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ooh, a bunch more just came in. Mary from Ontario. Judy from Oregon. We got Sonia from Dallas, Texas. Roar to you. Bobby from Virginia. Shamara from South Carolina. That's a cool name, Shamara. I like that. Fatia from Canada. Belle from Gulf Shores, Alabama. Exclamation point. Ashley from Connecticut. Roar. Who just roared at me? Roar, M-Flex. Awesome. Vancouver, British Columbia. Shannon from Ohio. Kim from Vegas. Sophia, we'll get to questions in just a moment. Yes, I do, Travis. What's up? Carl from Missouri. I did not go to the University of Cincinnati. You a simp? I don't know what a simp is. I like The Simpsons. Roar from Nebraska. Roar. Move a little bit. Let me see the painting. Yeah, the painting's beautiful, isn't it? Let me see if I can. So the painting's by Gaia, or excuse me, the painting is called Gaia by Min Jae Lee, and it is a fantastic painting. You can look up Min Jae Lee, Minjae. He is my favorite living artist. He's in South Korea. Carl from Missouri. I ate mackerel tonight and thought of you. Great job, Carl. That's Saminga. Carl from Missouri. Saminga, what's your first name? Great job eating mackerel. Roar to you. Tanya and Ryan from Utah. Oh, awesome. You're both watching. Well, hi, Tanya and Ryan. That's awesome. I hope if you're living together and or you are in a relationship together, I hope what you learn here, you implement in your relationship and in your home. One of the challenges of making healthy lifestyle changes, and give me a roar if you agree with this, is that we'll often choose to do something healthy for ourselves, like we're going to give up sugar, we're going to give up gluten, or we're going to wake up earlier, or we're going to stop drinking alcohol. And then if we don't get those in our house aligned with that, what do you know it? 3 days in, and there's donuts on the counter, and you're hungry, and you're like, well, just one donut won't hurt. Or your roommate asks you, hey, do you want to stay up and drink some wine and watch The Sopranos? Yes, that sounds fun. Even though I'm trying not to drink, that sounds fun, right? So if you don't get the people in your life that you live with on board with you, it's difficult to make healthy changes. And if you get them on board, it's so much easier. And so I was recently living with a very good friend of mine, Warren. I met Warren at a self-development conference. I've talked about him a little bit. I was living with him and his partner in Austin, Texas for a couple of weeks. I was staying with them, and it was just so easy for us to engage in healthy habits because we were feeding on each other, and it was really great. I got into I started doing more exercises because he was around and he had some exercise equipment. I helped him with his morning smoothie and his diet, and he was encouraging me to get a lot of work done. And so I was here on TikTok with you at night. It was really great. So when you surround yourself with people who are healthy, who are doing great things, and who take on the new lifestyle improvements that you're doing, it makes it so much easier to maintain this. Does that make sense? Give me a roar if that makes sense. Got Sue from Southern Indiana. Love this guy. Thank you. Hey, from New York. Ashley from Mississippi. Roar to you. Parkinson's, what is good? I don't know how to answer that. A friend of mine has Parkinson's disease, and he's getting a surgery that's supposed to be helpful. I don't know very much about it. I want to learn more about it. I'm not an expert in Parkinson's disease. I know a few things, and I share those things because they're pretty helpful. Like caffeine's good for Parkinson's disease. Regular coffee drinking reduces the risk of Parkinson's disease by 15%, and smoking reduces it by 30%. Please don't start smoking. You can do a nicotine patch, you can do a nicotine lozenge, you can do a nicotine spray. It really hurts the throat, but you can do that. There's other ways to get nicotine. Nicotine increases dopamine, and that's why it's thought it helps with reducing the risk of Parkinson's disease. So I know things like that. And then focused ultrasound is a great treatment for Parkinson's disease, usually for people who are younger. And I'm not a Parkinson's disease expert by any means. It's hard to get kids on that level. Yeah, you really got the kids involved. Roar to you, Linda. You read an article on Shilajit and Alzheimer's. What did you read? Turn my kids on to Costco sardines. Awesome. They're going to love them. If you get them on Costco sardines starting now, that's going to benefit them for the rest of their life because now they got cheap food, they got healthy food, and it's great for the brain. What could be better? And if you can figure out how to make it tasty, my favorite way of making sardines now is I'll take the can of sardines from Costco, pour out all the juices with I'll pour it in the bowl with all the olive oil, and then I'll add sometimes I'll add some apple cider vinegar. That's still good. And or I will add some of the pickled herring juice, and so the sardines have this like sweet pickled taste to it. I'll add some of the onions from the pickled herring. It is so good. It is so very good. I just had 2 of those today. Really great. If you can get them to like sardines at a young age, holy cow, they're going to be so ahead of the game. And one thing that is really great to be able to do is to live a healthy lifestyle on a budget. Who thinks that's a good idea? Give me a roar if that is a good idea, because it allows you to get the food you need and ideally exercise and sunlight and the things most important for health and not spend all your money on it. I mean, that's why I really like supplements. Supplements to me are a shortcut of great health to great health with spending little money. I don't recommend everyone buy every supplement I take. I don't recommend that for anyone. I take what's best for me. I want you to find the 1, 2, 3, or 5 supplements that are best for you and take those and see that as a way of improving your health without spending too much money and have that work really well for you. And what could be more valuable than preventing chronic disease? I mean, curcumin is shown to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, reduce damage from inflation. That can help with obesity. That can help with heart disease. That can help reduce the risk of dementia, all kinds of benefits for, 30, $40 a month. Wow. Wow. Is that worth it? I mean, that's worth it to me. I'm playing the long game. I'm 40. I plan on taking curcumin most days of my life for the next 100 years, assuming that's going to be very protective for me. So find a way to invest in your health that works for your budget. I don't know about marine collagen and that versus other collagen. It's a great question. Okay. All right, let's get to some questions here. Roar to you, Tanya. And if you're on YouTube, feel free to drop a question in there as well. I'm going to try to manage both, but the vast majority of you are on TikTok right now. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed to YouTube yet, please subscribe to my YouTube station. I just uploaded like 10 of these lives on there, so you can now watch those. So the YouTube is youtube.com/c/Robert W. B. Love. There's a link below my profile. It's totally free. I don't think I have commercials on there. At least if I am, I'm not getting paid for them. So you can watch all of these commercial free on YouTube, rewind, fast forward, all kinds of good stuff. And thank you for being a YouTube subscriber. So check that out. And yeah, so let's see. We have a question here. People don't realize those sardines aren't very fishy. Excellent. Okay. So do you recommend vaping through an orifice I don't recommend vaping at all. Thank you, Sausage Massage. Good question. Ocean Favor, putting MCT in my coffee. Awesome. Let's give a big roar to Ocean Favor. That's awesome. Sawanda, why pepper with curcumin? This is great. And this is something that really upset me. I was reading this research study. This would have been 2 years ago. And it said curcumin does not help with Alzheimer's disease. That's the headline. That's the title of the study. I thought, well, that's interesting. Let me look this up. So I read it. What they did was, this was like a 6-month or year-long study on a couple hundred old people. So people 60 plus who had early stage Alzheimer's disease. What they concluded was that curcumin did not reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, and it did not help memory. And I thought, well, that's weird because that doesn't match my understanding of curcumin, the other research I've read. So I read the study, and it said they only gave them curcumin every day. They did not give them curcumin with black pepper. Well, if you know anything about curcumin and its absorption in the body, or what's called bioavailability, how available is it to the body? Curcumin almost requires black pepper to be absorbed. Black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin. Here are the numbers, between 300% and 3,000%, depending on which study you look at. So let's say you give 1,000 milligrams of curcumin to someone. If you include black pepper or piperine is one of the active ingredients in black pepper that increases absorption. That black pepper will increase the absorption by 3x to 30x. Do you think that makes a difference in the research outcome? Absolutely. And so here's this, what I'm guessing is like $1 million study. Maybe it's $500,000. And these people doing the research didn't know enough about curcumin to include black pepper in their formulation. I was outraged. One, because of the waste of money. Two, because this is misinformation. That's like saying exercise is not good for the brain. Well, it turns out in this study, they also sleep deprived them for 30 days. And so exercise does not improve health over 30 days. Yes, when you deprive them of sleep, it's kind of important that you sleep well with exercise. So I was really mad at this research, and I've learned this lesson. I'll just go through stacks of research, or really digitally, for hours, and I'll read a bunch of interesting stuff, and I won't always bookmark stuff or write down the title or the citation, and then I'll try to find it later, and I won't be able to find it. And so I'm going to stop doing that now, because I really want to share the references with you. But there was a study that I read. I was just so enraged with this. So black pepper and curcumin. Essentially, black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin. That's why you want it. Curcumin, number one, is very, very, very powerful. It's powerful for the brain. It's powerful for memory. It's powerful for reducing inflammation. It's powerful for protecting the brain. Number two, curcumin is expensive. Curcumin is distilled down from turmeric. Turmeric is a root or a spice used in Indian cuisine. By the way, Indians in Indian cuisine, they add black pepper to their turmeric often. So their natural use or their cultural use of turmeric incorporates black pepper, which I think is very interesting. That's very telling. If you look culturally, oftentimes cultures eat foods the smart way. So indigenous cultures would eat rice and beans together. Why? Because you could get all your essential amino acids together if you eat rice and beans together. But if you eat them separately, you get less of them. Essential amino acids are amino acids that we need to get from other sources. We can't make them endogenously. We can make, I think, 14 amino acids inside of our bodies, and then the other 6 are essential amino acids. I might have those numbers flipped. But essentially, we need to get certain amino acids, usually from protein, outside of our bodies. And meats or animal products contain all of them. To do it without animal products, you have to mix basically rice and beans together. And indigenous cultures knew that. Similarly, with lectins, lectins are plant defenses. Lectins are found in tomatoes, in the peels, in the seeds in particular. Guess how Italians prepare their tomatoes? They take off the peel, they take off the seeds. So somehow they knew that we don't want to eat the seeds, we don't want to eat the peels. Those aren't good for us, or they simply just don't taste good. Either way, it works out well. So if you study indigenous food, if you study food in cultures, you'll find that usually they have a healthy preparation of these foods. And so Indians mix black pepper with their turmeric. And so curcumin is expensive. It's really powerful, and you want black pepper to increase its absorption. It's really hard to absorb. Another way to increase absorption with curcumin is fat. Take your herbs with fat. By herbs, I mean cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon, I mean ginger, and I mean curcumin, potentially rosemary. If you're going to take herbs, take it with some fat. That can help with the absorption or the bioavailability as well, in particular with curcumin. All right. How long does it take for supplements to start making a difference? Great question, Salon Sales. It depends. and I wish I could give you a definitive answer. 30 days, you'll feel the difference. It really depends. It depends upon you. It depends upon the supplement, and it also depends upon the person and how messed up they are. Right? If someone is um, really behind in the count, if their health is really bad, it might take a while for these things to have any sort of meaningful impact. On the contrary, if someone's really healthy and their body's really clean, they might notice a difference right away. I've given people, I've done this myself. I've taken a B complex vitamin, I've taken a really good B complex vitamin. I felt it right away. I felt the increase in energy. I felt the focus. I've taken B complex plus fish oil, and I felt that right away. And you can see this in some people. Some people report that I took that supplement, I felt it right away. Awesome. Don't expect that with every supplement. Lion's mane, people feel lion's mane right away. They'll take lion's mane before they go to sleep, and then they have great dreams the next day. And the next day they feel sharper. If you're vegan and you're low in B vitamins, and you take a B complex vitamin, you might notice that right away. My buddy Warren, who I was just talking about, Warren was vegan, and I sent him some of my supplements, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I noticed my brain clarity went up right away." So it depends. It depends upon the supplement. It depends on your status, and also depends upon how clean your diet is. If your diet's really dirty and you're eating a bunch of really bad inflammatory food, that might prevent absorption, and that might just clog the system as far as feeling a benefit. But if you're eating really clean and really healthy, and you take a supplement and you take in the way that you're going to absorb it best, you'll probably get results faster. If you give me a specific supplement, I can tell you. Generally speaking, curcumin, people do not notice. I don't notice it. I look at it in the research. I read in the research, people who take curcumin less likely to get Alzheimer's disease, less likely to get chronic diseases. It protects your organs. It reduces inflammation. It improves memory. Great. Sign me up. It's great for joints. I don't notice it. I take it because I'm assuming that the research also applies to me and my body and my physiology, and this is going to be good for me. Lion's mane, I notice right away. When I take it at night, I notice the dreams the next day. Coffee can be viewed as a supplement. Coffee, I feel usually right away. If I don't, it means I'm drinking too much, in which case I want to take the next day off or the next 2 days off from caffeine and cycle caffeine. By the way, it's a really good idea to cycle your supplements and cycle your caffeine. What do I mean by that? I mean, don't take it every single day unless directed by a medical professional. Take it 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Take a day or two off. Let your body recuperate, recover, reset, and then take it again. With coffee in particular, coffee is very powerful. If you've taken a week off of coffee and then you have a cup, you know what I'm talking about. If you take a month off of coffee, you really know what I'm talking about. Coffee is a serious drug, and a lot of us like the effect of it. Caffeine is the most consumed drug on planet Earth. Caffeine's number one, probably from coffee and then tea. Number two is alcohol. Number three is nicotine. Number four is cannabis or marijuana. So human beings love caffeine. We like it. It's also addictive. It's not incredibly addictive, but it's definitely addictive. It has withdrawal symptoms. So if you want to keep enjoying the psychological, physiological benefits of coffee, the increase in attention, the increase in alertness, the increase in energy, the lack of fatigue, you probably don't want to take it every single day for the rest of your life. You maybe want to do 2 days on, 1 day off. So Monday, Tuesday, skip Wednesday, drink decaf, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, drink decaf, and then back to Monday, Tuesday. Make sense? So coffee or caffeine, definitely something to cycle. I like to cycle it because I really like the effect of caffeine. It feels really good. Is lion's mane good for ADHD? Yes. Best thing for ADHD, my own personal opinion, and the research that I've done that I did for my dissertation, and then the research in general, exercise. Oh my gosh, exercise. The idea of giving kids drugs to have them sit still is really, now that I think about it, it's the opposite direction. Instead of giving the kid stuff to have them sit still in class, give them a pass to go outside and run around. Seriously, just have the kids run around for 10 minutes every hour. I don't like to guarantee things. I do like to guarantee things. So I would almost guarantee, I will say in 9 out of 10 cases, that child will be much better behaved in school if they get to run for outside 10 minutes every hour. Probably most children, not just ADHD, but almost everybody. What foods are inflammatory? Great question, Cad. So, if you ask a question, would you please put your first name? Because I'd like to address you. So, what foods are inflammatory? Unfortunately, a lot of the foods that are really delicious and really tasty and like addictively good that have been designed by food engineers to be so delicious, those foods are usually highly, highly inflammatory. These are foods with refined sugar. Refined sugar is inflammatory. Interestingly, sugar cane is not that bad for you, especially if you've eaten. Who's eaten natural sugar cane? Give me a roar or say yes. I've eaten it in the chat. If you've eaten natural sugar cane, that's like plants. It's full of fiber. You're chewing it. It's slowly absorbed. It tastes really sweet, but you're like chewing a fibrous plant like celery. Um, the sugar that we use in the United States primarily is from beets, and it's extracted from beets. It's not like you're eating beets when you eat sugar. You're just eating this refined sugar that's unnatural. Our bodies did not evolve eating refined sugar with no fiber. We're used to eating fruits with sugar and fiber, or vegetables. We're not used to this refined sugar from beets, and so our body responds to that with inflammation. So bad fats. Bad fats are usually your omega-6 fats. Think cottonseed. I know cottonseed's actually put in foods. Read your labels. Cottonseed, canola oil, vegetable oil, your other seed oils, sesame, safflower. Sesame is not as bad. Safflower, but essentially most of the seeds that you see in packaged foods that are preservatives. And then what was highly inflammatory that's no longer legal, thank goodness, are the trans fats. Those just, our body had no idea what to do with them, and they increased shelf life to basically forever. Not forever, but a really long darn time. And human beings would eat these things and just get stuck in their bodies, and really it killed people. It increased heart disease and stroke and chronic disease. Really terrible. So your bad fats, excuse me, refined sugar. Those are the general ones. And then think your processed meats. Think your hot dogs. Think your bratwurst. I love a good bratwurst. I don't eat them anymore. I don't eat. I really don't eat pig anymore. I'm sad. I'm sad about that. But my body just doesn't like it. And also your industrial meats. Unfortunately, these are industrial meats are meats that are animals that are raised in not nice ways. These are cows that are force-fed soy and corn. Cows don't eat soy and corn. They're force-fed soy and corn. Cows eat grass. If you're going to eat cow, please eat a grass-fed cow. If you can't afford it, please eat less. And then when you can't afford it, say, hey, instead of eating beef 3 times a week, we're going to eat once a week. We're eating smaller portions. We're going to get grass-fed beef because that's what we want to. We want the cows to live a life of a cow, not an animal force-fed food that it doesn't normally eat. By the way, the majority, where did I learn this? I think it was Stephen Gundry or Bill Bryce in the book The Body. The majority of Tums in the United States, who knows Tums? The antacid, Tums. So Tums, half of it is used in livestock. Why is it used in livestock? Why do we give antacids to animals? Well, because we force feed them food that causes a stomach upset, that causes acid reflux in animals. And so we feed them corn and soy, which they're not supposed to eat, which soy is likely genetically modified, and then we give them this antacid to keep them from getting upset with heartburn. So we give animals drugs, antacids I think are drugs, and to make them eat this food they're not supposed to eat, and then we eat them. What's going to happen? Well, that food's going to be inflammatory. Number one, the animal's not healthy and happy. Number two, the animal's eating inflammatory foods. Corn, it's eating genetically modified corn and soy. I'm fairly certain the soy is genetically modified, and I think the corn as well. And so they're eating these inflammatory foods. So when the cow eats inflammatory foods, then we eat the cow, that's inflammatory for us. So you want to avoid industrial meat. Here's the meat that is ethical and therefore moral from my perspective, but you don't need to share my morality. But these are the meats that are healthy for you, healthier. And if you want to be vegan or vegetarian, that's great. Just make sure you get supplements because it's hard to get enough protein, enough iron, enough choline, and enough B vitamins on a vegan diet. You certainly can though. So here's the healthy meats if you want to eat healthier and more sustainably and more in integrity with Mother Nature. Grass-fed beef, grass-finished beef, grass-fed lamb, pastured chicken. That means the chickens are actually outside in the pasture, not free range. Free range does not count. Free range means they open the door to the pen for an hour a day, and the chickens don't go out because they're chickens and they got a small brain and they're afraid to go outside. So free range doesn't count. So it's got to be pastured chicken and what else? Wild caught salmon. What else? What are the other meats? So we got grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, pastured chicken, pork. I don't do pork. I don't know what sustainable pork is. Maybe from a local farmer, that might be good if you're going to do pig. and start there. And then bison. Bison's great. Love bison. I lived in Colorado. There were bison nearby. It was very, very cool. Bison, by the way, are much more sustainable than cows. They use less land. Cows. There used to be cows. I used to live on a farm in Colorado, and cows would be nearby, and I'd watch them eat. The cows basically their teeth grab the grass and then rip it up. If you've seen cows eat, you know what I'm talking about. They rip up the grass. Whereas bison, I believe that they have sharper teeth and they clip the grass. So they're not ripping up the grass, they're just clipping it with their teeth. And so this consumes a lot less of the grass. And so they take up less land than cows. Bison also, I think they walk in kind of like straight lines together in like a pack, whereas cows kind of like wander and meander and their hoof prints get everywhere. So their hoof prints make, I think their hoofs are bigger and then they walk in a way that it affects more land than bison. I think a cow farmer told me they need about an acre a cow, which is so if you're gonna have 300 cows, you need 300 acres. It's a lot. So, so those are the kind of meats you want to eat if you want to eat non-inflammatory foods. You are welcome for the pepper answer. Low iron suggestions. Yes. Work with a functional medicine doctor. This is Natavare. If you enter a question, please put your first name and where you're from. First name certainly, so that way I can address you. And always feel free to drop a lion emoji. Let me know if you're an evolving lion. By the way, this is the Lion's Den. Welcome to the Lion's Den. This is where we evolving lions come to share our stories of success, come to support and love each other, and learn cool things about health and neuroscience. This is the Lion's Den because we are evolving lions, meaning we are trying to get better. We're here trying to get better ourselves as well as to help our community, our family, our friends. And we look to our evolutionary past to inform our diet. So what did our ancestors eat? Well, I'm going to use that information to inform what I should eat, not what big food companies put on the shelves. That's not informed by our evolutionary past. I'm going to look 50,000 years ago. What did human beings 50,000 years ago eat? And that's going to tell me what's likely good for my body. And we like lion's mane, and lions are cool. So this is the Lion's Den. All right, low iron suggestions. Yes, so eat foods high in iron. Often that's meat. So think grass-fed beef and like spinach. That's really good. You can take an iron supplement. You also might want to know what's causing low iron. Are you eating enough iron? Do you have iron absorption problems? And then work with a functional medicine doctor and get tested. Make sure you're doing okay. Is the keto diet good for weight loss? The keto diet is great for weight loss. A couple things. Not everyone does well on keto. Those with type O blood in particular do very well with keto. Those with type AB, less so. There's a great book called Eat the number 4, Your Type. Great book. It talks about how in evolution, type O blood came first, then type A blood came, and then type B came, and then type AB emerged. So O is the oldest. I'm type O. I do well with a diet with minimal to no grains, and it is as similar to my ancestors as possible. People with type AB blood, they can handle more grains. They may even prefer more grains. I don't know, but that's kind of the theory from the book. And people with type O blood do really well with keto because our ancestors went keto. What drives you into ketosis? One, fasting. If you fast for 3 days, your body will go into ketosis and you'll start burning your internal fat for energy. That's ketosis. If you eat a bunch of fat and a bunch of protein with minimal carbs, which I think our ancestors did certainly in the winter, and that will take you into ketosis. And so type O blood in particular does very well with ketosis. Here's the trick. Here's one of the tricks. Well, first, you want to get your people in your home enrolled in keto with you. We were talking earlier how if you're watching this, if you're watching the Lion's Den or you're participating in the Lion's Den, I like to think this is a participation, not just me talking, but us having a back and forth. If you're participating in the Lion's Den, hopefully your loved ones are as well. And so that way, if you want to give up sugar, for example, or get rid of refined sugar, or get rid of vegetable oil, or get rid of these donuts, you just want to get rid of donuts from your life. You want to make sure everyone in your home is in agreement. So that way your roommate or your husband, wife, partner doesn't bring home donuts one day and then you got to fight them on it, or then you got to throw them away, or then you got to hide from the kitchen. You got to do something, right? Because it's hard to resist donuts. I have trouble resisting donuts. I walk quickly by them. Or I get outraged. Who brought this into the house? That usually doesn't work very well. But I try to pass them as quickly as I can because I know my body does not want them and they look gosh darn good. They are so very tasty. So you got to get people aligned with what you're doing. So if you're going to go keto, make sure whoever you eat meals with is also doing keto. Husband, wife, partner, children, roommates, You got to be on the same page because otherwise they might sneak non-keto food into your diet. I was coaching a client. She was vegan at the time. She wanted to do vegan keto, and I was coaching her on it. It was very difficult. She was eating a ton of avocado, and she was vegan at the time, and she was eating with her boyfriend who was vegan but not keto. Guess what they ate? Guess what he cooked one night? Rice. And she was so used to eating rice, just started eating it. And halfway through her meal, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't eat rice. This is going to throw me out of ketosis." But she kept eating it because she didn't want to be rude and she didn't want to throw it away. And then that took her out of ketosis. That knocked her back a week. She gained like 2 pounds from that because it took her out of ketosis and she gained a lot of weight. And then it took her a week to get back into ketosis. And then it took her another week to lose those 2 pounds. Really a problem. So keto is one of those things where you really can't mess around with it too much because if you screw it up, it really sets you back. So please make sure other people are on it with you in your home. Also, I recommend working with a coach because they'll give you shortcuts. There are some shortcuts to keto that you want to manage that are probably personal to you. There's some supplements you want to take. For example, you want to take your minerals, your magnesium, your selenium. You want to make sure you get enough salt. For example, make sure you drink enough water. Fight the keto flu. One thing I really like is L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine. It's an amino acid that's a precursor to dopamine. It increases energy and it also reduces hunger and appetite. So that's really cool. So I like L-tyrosine with keto. And you want to cycle on and off keto. So this is what Dr. Dale Bredesen teaches, and this is what Dave Asprey teaches. So you don't want to be in keto for the next 6 months. You certainly don't want to be in ketosis for the next 6 years. It's hard on your body. It's not sustainable. Ideally, you want to be in ketosis 5 to 6 days a week, and then out of ketosis 1 to 2 days a week, and then back into it. What this does is this makes you metabolically flexible. Think a hybrid car. You want your hybrid car to run on both gasoline and a battery. How do you do that? Well, you got to use both gasoline and battery. Same thing with your body. Your body can burn fat for energy. Your body can burn glucose or sugar for energy. You want to be able to do both. You want metabolic flexibility. Metabolic flexibility. How do you do that? You want to move in and out of ketosis, and that makes it sustainable. Being in ketosis for a long period of time, first of all, it's very difficult. It's a very restrictive diet. I've done it for, what was the longest I did? I think I did 3 months once. It might have been 2 months. It was a while. I did it with my mother. My mother loved it. She dropped like 20 pounds. She was crushing it. She went to the doctor. They measured her blood and they said, "This is the best blood test we've had from you in 10 years. And I gave my mom a big high five. It's like, you did it. She crushes keto. She does really well. And so, and that's my thought on keto. Please, please, please work with a coach, work with someone who understands it because it's easy to screw up. It's easy to do wrong. And you can hurt yourself. And I don't want you to hurt yourself. I want you to do keto right. And I want you to have a great time with it. And I want you to do it sustainably, which means keto cycling. It's not safe to do keto for over 6 months. And it's not a good idea. And then oftentimes what happens is people do keto and they'll drop 20, 30 pounds of fat, which is really great. But then they'll gain it back when they go off keto. You don't want to do that. That's not only is that sustainable, that's more dangerous than not losing the weight. It is safer if someone's 20 pounds overweight. It's safer to stay 20 pounds overweight for the next 50 years than it is to lose 20 pounds and gain 20 pounds, and then lose 20 pounds and gain 20 pounds. That's very hard on the body, right? So you're going to lose 20 pounds. You want to keep it off, right? Right? Give me a roar. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. You want to do keto cycling. And I have a weight loss expert I'm bringing on. I'm going to try to bring him on this week. His name's Chad Tackett. I've talked about Chad a little bit before. I can't give you his free offer. He wanted me to offer the Lions Den a free offer. Y'all totally filled it up. His calendar's totally booked. So I can't tell you to go click on Chad's thing and schedule a free weight loss roadmap with him. Maybe next week he'll have some more openings. But Chad Tackett specializes in sustainable weight loss. So what you want is sustainable weight loss. Keto is not sustainable. You got to be keto flexible. All right, so I'm going to skip to the bottom now and see where we are. So if you're just joining us, enter your first name, where you're from in the chat. If you're an evolving lion, give me a roar. Do I have a podcast? Yes, it's called the Brain Fitness Podcast. It's on YouTube. You can subscribe to YouTube for free. You can go below my profile, click my link tree, and the YouTube's on there. I'm actually doing YouTube Live right now. There are a couple of people on there. Hello, YouTube Live. And this will be posted on YouTube Live, so you can watch the whole Lions Den episode from tonight on there. And then if you have a question, give me your first name and ask a question. We got Pittsburgh, we got Doris, we got Roar, Tiger fucking Queen. Awesome. Oh, hello, Desert Deb. I'm sorry, I wasn't responding to this. Hello, Brando James. And hello, Robert, the schizophrenic who takes lots of medications. Is there anything I can do to help? Schizophrenia is very specific, Robert. I'm not an expert in schizophrenia. I'd recommend getting your diet under control. So if someone has schizophrenia or severe psychiatric issues, which what schizophrenia is, I really recommend getting your diet cleaned up, go low carb. There's a great psychiatrist. Her name is Georgia Edie. She treats patients by having them go on the low carb diet. By getting people on the low carb diet, it stops the ups and downs of emotions. It really settles them out. If you do keto, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you go keto, emotions become much more stable. Then if you want to see the opposite, just eat a bunch of sugar, see what your emotions do. You'll be happy or you'll be depressed or you'll be both. It's amazing. So Robert, who's having trouble with schizophrenia, God bless you. I wish you the best. And I think one of the best things you can do is go low carb, and that can help level out your emotions. And hopefully that's helpful to you. And then hello, Deb from Barstow. Barstow. I first learned about Barstow in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's the first line of the book and the movie. All right, we got Donna from Michigan. We got Mimi from Seattle, Roar. We got Roar from En Vogue Photo. We got Kendra Hansen from Minnesota, Roar. Roar to you. We got April from Utah. We got Suzanne or Susan from Mississippi. We got Matt from Utah. We got Paul from Minnesota. Too much copper. Yes, you don't want too much copper. That's why I don't like multivitamins. Georgia Edie, Edie. She's in the documentary Fat Fiction. I'm going to make a free report and put my favorite documentaries in there, and that way you can just download that. By the way, if you want my favorite supplements, I made a free report, my top 10 supplements, my favorite brands, and where to buy them. That's under my link tree. I think it's the first or second thing on there. So just click there, and then just put in your email, and then I email you a copy of this free report of my top 10 supplements if you want to know what supplements I like, and then where to buy them. And then I'm thinking about making one for documentaries. If that's a good idea, let me know, and then I'll put that together. Georgia Edie. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Yes. And the documentary is called Fat Fiction. Anne from Louisiana. Lucy from England. No, not multivitamins. Afraid so. Multivitamins usually have too much copper and too much iron, not enough magnesium. Colorado, baby. Awesome. Hey, how about Colorado decriminalizing plant entheogens? That was awesome. I'm telling you, this is going to be a huge, huge, huge deal. So one session, just to diverge for a moment, one session, according to research from Johns Hopkins, one session of psychedelic mushrooms with a therapist stopped smoking in 80% of the cases. In other words, psychedelic mushrooms plus a therapist equals smoking cessation 80% of the time. That's higher than any other drug. It's higher than any other therapy. It's amazing. And this is such a big deal for health because cigarettes are very addictive and they're very harmful, and it's very hard to get off them. I smoked for a very short period of my life in Las Vegas, and I think I was only smoking for less than a month. Even then I could feel the pull of them. They were amazing. Really, really awful things. And people can get off cigarettes with one session. I think this is going to happen. This is my prediction. This is November 14th, 2020. I predict that people are going to be using psychedelic mushrooms with a therapist to get off of sugar and get off food that's harming them. I think this might be a really helpful treatment for diabetes. A lot of people who have diabetes and are obese have chronic issues. A lot of it is they're addicted to these things. And if I eat their diet, I would be addicted to those foods too. The foods that most Americans eat are rich in refined sugar. They're rich in fats. They're rich in salt, all the things that your tongue loves. And when you eat these foods regularly, your gut bacteria get used to them and they crave them. And your gut bacteria are responsible for a lot of neurotransmitters in your body, in particular dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is the pursuit. Dopamine is motivation. It's you go out and do that. It's achieve. And if you look at ho-hos, I love ho-hos by Hostess, right? The little cakes with the white stuff in the middle, so tasty. So ho-hos. So if I was eating ho-hos regularly, I would have gut bacteria in my body that love the oil and the sugar in ho-hos. And so I see that I would probably get this hit of excuse me, of dopamine. So the ho-ho, I'd probably get that hit of dopamine. Then I'd probably reach for that ho-ho, probably get another hit of dopamine in anticipation of that sugar. Then I'd eat it. I get that flood, that rush, right? Very, very addictive, very strong neural pathways associating that ho-ho and a bunch of hormonal neurochemical changes in my body. That's addiction. And a lot of people have that. So people who are addicted to these foods, I think it's very, very serious. Now, I hope and I predict that psychedelic psychotherapy will be helpful in freeing people in breaking this addiction and could be one of the solutions to chronic obesity in the United States. So we got Alzheimer's disease pushing us from up top. So many people over 65 are getting Alzheimer's disease. It's a crisis. So many young people, there are teenagers, there are 12-year-olds with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This did not exist until the 80s when we started putting tons of sugar in our food. That's where we started getting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Prior to that, there was only fatty liver disease from alcohol, but we started getting it from sugar. And now children are getting it. Imagine the quality of life of a child who's 12 years old and is obese and is diabetic and has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's awful. That's really, really sad. Some of it's certainly not all the child's fault. It's not all the parents' fault because there's things they didn't understand, and the food is so addictive. It's really hard to get off. And so, hopefully, there are treatments available, and perhaps psychedelic psychotherapy might be helpful for adults who are addicted to sugar and unhealthy foods. Hello, Brian Hovey on YouTube. Okay, we got Veronica from South Africa. We got Eli from New York, or Ellie from New York. We got Lucy from England. We got Krista from Texas. Roar to you. You're getting tested for dementia in February. Well, I hope the test goes well, Kathy. Get your sleep, get your exercise, take your lion's mane. You'll do great. Drug recommended for tinnitus. Yes, write this down. This comes up once a night. Hydergine. 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 Hydergine is a drug. It's a prescription drug that actually helps grow neurons. A friend of mine has hand cut, like severed, imagine across the palm. He couldn't move his fingers. I think he couldn't move his fingers. He was missing a ton of severed nerves. He took Hydergine to help regrow his nerves. He actually got to meet the creator of Hydergine, named Albert Hoffman. Who knows Albert Hoffman? Albert Hoffman discovered LSD, and he discovered psilocybin, which is the ingredient in magic mushrooms. He also made Hydergine, which is great for the brain. It increases oxygen to the brain and helps grow nerves. Hydergine, magic. I tried to get it from my doctor. He wouldn't give it to me. I was bummed. He's like, they give this to people for Alzheimer's disease. I'm like, I know, doc. Like, why I want it? I wanted to get more oxygen to my brain. By the way, Viagra may do the same thing. Viagra is a prescription drug. You need a prescription. Talk with your medical doctor. And Viagra, in a large study from an insurance company, I think it was over 4 million people, found that Viagra reduced the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 69%. I'm not making that number up. It's actually 69% if you read the document. The news reported 70% because they didn't want it to be like an April Fool's thing, but it reduces it by 69%. So now you can really remember that. Those are the numbers. So Hydergine. If you have tinnitus or someone has tinnitus, Hydergine. What's better, pecans or almonds? Almonds are better for your brain, and beefcake, what's most important is that you like and enjoy the food that you eat that's healthy. It's a balance, right? It's you like the food and the food's healthy for you, right? You want to have these things in balance. If you hate the food and it's super healthy, you're not going to eat it for very long. And if you love the food, but it's terrible for you, you're going to die. I'm not, I don't want to say you're going to die, but it's likely to hurt you. Your health is going to go down if you eat really tasty food that is just awful for you. So you want to balance, right? And so eat what nut you like best. Walnuts are best, then almonds, then perhaps macadamia nuts. If you're eating healthy nuts, if they're organic, and especially if you soak them, you want to soak your walnuts, almonds, and pecans, soak them, and then look at the water, look at all the crap that comes off. Those are potentially lectins, and those are plant defenses that reduce the absorption of the nuts in our body. So if you want to absorb all the almonds and all the walnuts, you want to absorb all that good stuff, soak them and then dry them. That makes them much more digestible. Or you can sprout them. I don't know what the sprouting process is. It involves keeping them wet and then they start to kind of germinate. It's kind of cool. Can you talk about vitamin D toxicity? Yeah, Nathan, it rarely happens. Dr. Stephen Gundry, I'm not giving you medical advice, so make sure you're taking the right amount of supplements. Dr. Stephen Gundry said that he's been taking massive amounts of vitamin D for years and has not had vitamin D toxicity. I think vitamin D toxicity is hard to get. You would have to be taking an inappropriate amount of vitamin D supplements on a very regular basis. So the max, according to the University of San Diego, according to San Diego State, the max you want to take per day is 10,000 IU. Most people, it's recommended 5,000 IU. So if you follow that, you're likely going to be safe. Of course, check with your medical doctor, especially if you've had vitamin D toxicity. Do what's safe and right for you. But generally speaking, if you're taking 5,000 to 10,000 IU, you're likely to be safe if you are a healthy adult. Hydrogen is good for nerve repair. So Uber Eats forever. Hydergine, Hydergine, helps with nerve repair. Also is good for the brain. Also helps with tinnitus. Keeping up with Marielle. If you put a question, would you please put your first name so that way I can address you rather than your TikTok handle? How can someone with multiple sclerosis live a normal life? This is a really good question. I'm trying to answer this myself. I have an aunt who has multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease. I'm trying to help her. It's hard. MS, I think one of the most important things that they found, and certainly with Parkinson's disease, is exercise. I'm not an expert in MS, and MS is it's not well understood, and so I don't have an answer for you. If you or someone you love has MS, a normal lifespan, I don't know. I think what you want is a quality of life, and so if you or someone you love has MS, that's likely to shorten their life, and it's likely to make their life more difficult. And so I would suggest living a life that's really important to you or that person. So I'm gonna make a reference here. Who knows Rick and Morty? Who watches Rick and Morty? Give me a roar if you like Rick and Morty. So there's an episode there where they play a video game called Roy. Roy, basically, you get to live the life of another human being in compressed time. And so in the game Roy, when you're like, you imagine you put on a virtual reality headset, you live the game of this video game. You live the life of this video game player, like the full life. And Roy gets cancer in his 30s. And the question is, what do you do after beating cancer? Well, in one, Morty from Rick and Morty, he went back to work at his stupid job in the carpet factory rather than doing something that was meaningful to him, right? And Rick made fun of him. He said, "Dude, you went back to work at the carpet store after beating cancer? Boo!" Right? So after you beat cancer, you're supposed to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm alive. Life is amazing. I'm not going to do anything that I don't like anymore. I'm going to do what's important to me. What's important to me, my family, my health." My religion, my spirituality, that's what's important to me. Cancer usually does that to people when they come out. At least ideally it does, because then they let go all the crap of the news and all the stuff that's not important, all the gossip stuff that's not important. A friend of mine, or excuse me, a friend of my father's, this was 5 years ago. My parents had a big birthday party 5 years ago. And Jim pulls me aside. He said, "Jim," he said, "Robert, get over here." "Yeah, Jim, what's up?" He's like, "I want you to know I love your father. Your father's my best friend. I love him so much. You and your mother are the best friends of almost everyone in this room. I love them. We love them. They're wonderful." I said, "Thank you so much, Jim." And I told my dad this. And my dad said, "Yeah, Jim almost died from cancer. And when you come that close to death, it becomes easier to express your love." That's really profound. Let me say that again. When you come close to death, it's easier to express your love because you don't care if someone is unkind to you because you say you love them, or if they treat you weirdly, or if they look at you strangely. You don't care. You're like, "Hey, I expressed love and you didn't like it. Okay. I survived cancer. This doesn't mean anything to me, right?" So keeping up with Mariella. If you or someone you love has MS, that's coming close to death. Right? Not exactly like cancer, but it's close enough. And so just let go of all the crap in your life and commit to living an amazing life. That's my sincere hope and desire for you or whoever this is. And that's probably the best thing to do. Next, clean up your diet. I recommend a low carb diet, rich in vegetables. Whether you eat meat or don't eat meat, eat a ton of vegetables, organic vegetables. That'll be terrific for you. And then work with a functional medicine doctor or an integrative medicine doctor or a specialist on this. Don't go to a GP. Don't go to, I would go to someone who's a specialist in this, who's up to date on the research, and then just commit to living a great life and commit to being unafraid of doing what you want to do and what you love doing, and forget about what other people say, or what other people's judgments of you. That's what I wanted to say. Just let that go. Other people aren't going to like what you do. Fine. This person has MS. They're going to, that's a serious threat on their life. What other people think is not a concern. Life's too short to worry about that, right? So I really hope the MS is a gift in that it allows this person to be more free and live a life they love. Sincerely. That's my best stuff on MS. Magnesium malate, will that help with anxiety? Better for anxiety is magnesium threonate or magnesium glycinate, Glycinate. Magnesium malate is more for muscles. But all those magnesiums are good, and about 50 to 90% of us are deficient in magnesium. By the way, YouTube folks, if you got a question, let me know. I'll try to answer that as well. YouTube folks, I don't see any roars here. If there are any evolving lions on YouTube, give me a roar over there. Any info to help my daughter's fight or flight system shut off? She has CRPS, and I'm at a loss. So Casey, the Lion's Den is specifically for adults, and I'm kind of speaking to older adults because I'm talking about preventing dementia. I try not to give. First of all, I'm not giving medical advice. Second of all, I try not to give advice around children because I'm not an expert in that. I know a few things about health, and my sincere guess is that cleaning up the diet can make a difference, and exercise, getting off the phone, and getting really good sleep. So if my child, this is how I answer this question without answering it. So if I had a child with severe anxiety, I would put them on a low carb diet. I would take away their phone because the phone's just anxiety. I mean, if you want anxiety tomorrow, check your text messages and emails as soon as you wake up. Somehow, some way, I spend the rest of the day just checking my text messages. It's awful. So I try to check my stuff until noon. Perfect. Yeah, totally. So the phone itself can give you anxiety if you just check it enough. It's just like, oh my gosh, just got to know what's happening, right? Just keep scrolling. So I would take away their phone. I would get them exercising. I would probably pull them out of school because I think school is stressful and school doesn't help. And I'd have them eat a really clean diet and then learn something that they care about. And that's how I would treat that. And then if that didn't work, I'd put them with a specialist. So that's what I would do, Casey, if I had a child who had anxiety. I think for daughters, and I think for women in particular, for females, the social media is a real problem. So I think boys get bullied more on social media. I think women, I think females have their body image attacked more, and I think that's more serious for young girls. And so that could be a serious problem. There's a great documentary called The Social Dilemma. Who's seen The Social Dilemma? Give me a roar. Thank you, Barry thank you, Roar Barry from YouTube. So if you've seen The Social Dilemma, you know that you can post, a girl can post a picture and it'll get 20 likes and nice comments. And then they get one comment about your ears look big, and then that destroys them. I've on a much smaller level, I've had that. I'll put up a video and I'll get all these comments and questions, and someone will be like, dude, your hair looks terrible. And I'm like, oh man, my hair looks bad. And I'll be semi upset. And now it doesn't bother me anymore. But that's what it was like at first. And so I would take away the social media for their own good, if it's for your daughter's sake, because it's likely increasing the anxiety. She'll probably fight you on that one, but that's seriously the best thing to do. In my perspective, if it were my daughter. Is peanut butter bad? Certainly processed peanut butter is definitely bad. So Jif, I don't like to name names. So think about the most common peanut butters on the shelf. They have partially hydrogenated oil or hydrogenated oil. At least they did. That stuff is inflammatory. Our body doesn't like it. Number two, they have canola oil. Canola oil, no bueno. Canola oil is inflammatory for the body. Number three, peanuts themselves, those can be inflammatory for a lot of people. And so those aren't a really good thing to eat either. I recommend walnut butter or almond butter. Those are way better for you. More filling, better nutrients. I think the world will be a much better place when we ditch peanut butter just altogether. Like peanut butter is gone, and it's just walnut butter, almond butter, and other nut butters. They'll come down in price too as more and more people eat almond and walnut butter, and our health will go up. Same thing with allulose. Allulose is a sweetener that is 90% fewer calories than regular sugar. Does not spike it. Excuse me. Does not spike insulin. Does not spike glucose. And it's expensive now. Now, what happens when allulose replaces refined sugar in most packaged foods, or allulose is on sale next to regular sugar? It's going to go down in price because there's economies of scale that happen. I was buying allulose. Is it 3 years ago? I think it was 3 years ago when I first learned about it. It was really expensive. Now it's come down a little bit, but as more and more people use it, by the way, it's great. It's made from corn, and they give corn an enzyme, and it turns corn into allulose. Allulose is also found in dates, no, excuse me, in figs and mulberries and maple syrup. It's really great. And there's a study from Korea where they gave allulose to obese people, like as a supplement, like in a pill, or placebo. And those who had allulose actually lost weight. So it actually increased weight loss. Amazing. Now, I'm not saying it's, if you eat something with allulose, you're going to lose weight. But this is the sugar that, compared to placebo, caused weight loss in some obese people in Korea. That's amazing. And so hopefully more people buy allulose. That comes down in price. And more people buy almond butter and walnut butter. And that comes down in price. I got a question from YouTube. Hi, Donna. What do you think of macadamia nut oil? I think the nut oils, the almond oil, the walnut oil, the macadamia nut oil, those are all great. And then you want to be careful with oils. They are rich in calories. That's okay if you don't pair them with a bunch of sugar. So a really good meal is high protein, high fat diet with a lot of vegetables. A terrible meal is high fat, high sugar. That promotes weight gain and promotes fat gain. What happens is the sugar spikes insulin, which also spikes fat storage. And then you got the fat, which is a ton of calories. So the oil, oh, I'm a cowboy. The oil has a ton of calories in it, which is okay if you don't have it with a bunch of carbs. But if you have it with a bunch of carbs, now you got high insulin and a bunch of calories. Your body's likely to store that fat as fat or store it in your body. You don't want that. So if you're going to eat a bunch of macadamia nut oil, I recommend not eating that with something high carb. That's going to promote weight gain. Eat that with, eat that with a bunch of vegetables. That's going to be much, much better. So the nut oils, same thing with olive oil. I don't recommend eating olive oil with a bunch of carbohydrates. Eat them with vegetables. Eat them with meats, and that'll be much better. I put olive oil in my smoothie because I want that fat, that healthy fat in my smoothie to help me absorb the fat soluble vitamins. All right. Roasted almonds over chips. By chips, do you mean French fries? Absolutely. And by chips, do you mean potato chips? Absolutely. So yes, roasted almonds, ideally soaked and roasted. You want to soak them to help remove the lectins, remove the plant defenses, and then roast them. Not too high. You don't want to burn them. And then roast them so they're crispy. And then eat those. Those are the best. I have short-term memory loss. What supplement do I need? So I'm very sorry to hear that you have short-term memory loss. If you post a question, please put your first name. I'm sorry, I just saw a question over here. Peanut butter tastes so good, but pecan butter is good but expensive. Yes. So this is a great point. Healthy food is often expensive. At least it is now in this country. The question is, what are you willing to spend your money on? I'm willing to spend my money on good food that's healthy, that I like. In fact, that's a fair amount of my budget. I don't buy alcohol anymore. I don't spend a lot of money going out to dinner. I don't buy a lot of luxury items, and I don't buy a lot of clothes anymore. I have my wardrobe. I like it. I do buy clothes when I go to Burning Man because I want cool clothes there, and then I wear those during the year, and that's that. So if you can ration your budget and spend more on food and less on medicine, on healthcare, that's great. So John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, said, he showed us two graphs. He said 100 years ago, Americans spent 30% of their budget on food and 10% on healthcare. Now we've got that reversed. Americans are now spending 10% of their budget on food and 30% of their budget on healthcare. That's terrible. I don't think that's what we want. What we want is, I think we want optimal health. That means spending minimal on healthcare. I'm not saying don't get a surgery if you need it, and not saying don't see the doctor. I'm saying we want to spend less on medical care because we're healthier. So if you eat healthier food, you can spend less on medical care. That's what John Mackey was explaining. That's really, really cool. So, Q Nardi, to answer your question, I don't know what's causing your short-term memory loss. It could be traumatic brain injury. It could be a lack of nutrients. Um, it could be a variety of things. And so I don't know. The first thing I would do is, you may want to get tested. I also don't know, how old are you? If you have short-term memory challenges and you're 15, that's different than if you're 65. So I don't have nearly enough information to be helpful. Generally speaking, if someone has brain fog or memory issues, I'd want you to clean up your diet and improve your sleep, and take some supplements. The supplements I would recommend to anyone, generally these are for healthy adults. These are safe for healthy adults. I'd recommend a B complex vitamin and a fish oil. I would start there. Fish oil is great for your brain. Our brains are made of fat. Outside of water, our brains are mostly fat. And there are anthropologists who believe that we evolved big brains after we started eating more meat. And meat actually has omega-3s in it. Omega-3s are those healthy oils that are in fish oil, that are in fish. And that's also grass-fed beef has omega-3s, for example. So when our ancestors started eating more meat, we got more healthy fats and we could grow bigger brains. There's Max Lugavere shared that there's research to show that women who eat more omega-3s while they're pregnant have smarter babies. So eating healthy fats is really, really important. So if someone has memory issues, I want to make sure you're eating enough. I'd recommend eating healthy fish. These are the smash fish. Who knows what smash fish are? The 5 fish. Say them with me: salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. You want a wild caught salmon, and you want Atlantic mackerel, not king mackerel. Those fish are high in fats, which are great for you, and low in mercury. Those are the best. I recommend sticking to those. Fish like tuna can have too much mercury. Tony Robbins got mercury poisoning from eating a bunch of tuna. Shark, swordfish, same deal. Swordfish. I remember I ate swordfish. Was it 20 years ago? It's probably like 17 years ago. I was visiting a friend and I was cooking for him and his family. And we got swordfish. It was delicious. That might have been the last time I had swordfish, because it's just too filled with mercury. It's really unfortunate. So I'd clean up your diet. Fish oil, B complex. B complex because our brain needs vitamins B6 and B12 to make certain neurotransmitters. So many fake olive oils. That's right, Bear. This is important. Thank you for bringing that up. So in restaurants, it is legal, I underscore legal, for them to give you, quote, olive oil that is 51% olive oil, 49% canola oil. This is a bad deal. If you're watching this, if you're in the lion's den, if you're an evolving lion, you probably don't want to be eating canola oil. Canola oil is not good for you. It can cause inflammation. You want the olive oil. I think you think you're paying for the olive oil, which we think we are, and they're not serving it to us. So here's what you can do. 2 options here. Choose the one that works best for you. Dave Asprey says he'll go to a restaurant and say, hey, I'm allergic to canola oil. If you serve me any canola oil, I will start having a seizure on your floor. So he doesn't get, so they make sure they don't serve him canola oil. They don't cook his vegetables in canola oil. Often restaurants will cook your vegetables in canola oil. That's a bad deal. The other thing to do is what I prefer to do is I bring my olive oil to the restaurants. I will dress my salad with my own olive oil, and that usually works out pretty well. So either one of those, I really try to be in integrity with my word. I really like to do what I say I will do when I say I will do it, and when I don't, I want to clean it up. And I don't want to say I'm going to have a seizure if I have canola oil, because that's not true. But I definitely don't want canola oil. And so if restaurants can cook your vegetables in butter, that can be better, because butter, generally speaking, is healthier than canola oil. So basket of cabbages, Hydergine, Hydergine. Search that prescription drug. Search Albert Hoffman, ALBERTHOFFMAN. Must scan to the bunch of stuff you in. What are your thoughts on Apollo Neuro? I like Apollo Health. I think it's a good insurance company if you and I are thinking about the right thing, or the same thing. I don't know about Apollo Neuro. What are your thoughts on brain lesions? I'm 50 and forgetful. Any suggestions on vitamins? I'm not familiar with brain lesions, what caused them. what they do, um, these sound like, if these are regular lesions, these sound like basically damage to the brain. I'd want to know what caused them. I'd recommend doing things to repair the brain. So a friend of mine recently had a traumatic brain injury. He fell off his motorcycle. He had screwed up his wrist, and he lost some memory. He lost cognition. And so I put him on fish oil and a B complex vitamin. That's standard. That's, this isn't standard in medicine. This is standard what I recommend. So not giving you medical advice, but fish oil to help regrow the brain, give the brain enough healthy fat to regrow tissue. B complex, that's just important for brain health and energy. And I gave him oxiracetam. Write this down. Oxiracetam. Oxiracetam helps recovery after traumatic brain injury. And aniracetam, Aniracetam, also helps with recovery after traumatic brain injury. It can help prevent traumatic brain injury. So if you give mice aniracetam and then concuss them, they have less brain damage than mice not given aniracetam. Really pretty cool. So you can kind of like prevent brain damage in advance with aniracetam. I think oxiracetam, probably same deal. So if I had brain lesions, I would be taking aniracetam, 1,500 milligrams a day. I'd be taking fish oil, probably 1 to 3 tablespoons, big T, tablespoons a day. By the way, I took 2 tablespoons 2 nights ago before bed, way too much. I felt sick to my stomach. Don't do that. I experiment on myself sometimes to see what works. So I took a tablespoon of fish oil a couple of days ago during the day. That was great. Took 2 at night. That was a big problem. I don't recommend that. So for your brain lesions, I get lots of healthy fats. Also eat lots of fatty fish like sardines. So eating fish is better than fish oil. So do that. Take your B complex vitamins, and get lots of sleep. Give your brain a chance to repair. That's what I'd recommend. And then see a neurologist. See someone who specializes in this. I don't specialize in brain lesions. My expertise is really in preventing Alzheimer's disease with science, and then the health issues around that. Brain lesions are something different. If you can afford it, and this is really important to you, I'd recommend working with a specialist who you can call up and say, hey, I have brain lesions. Can you help? They say no, find someone who can help. It's interesting. People will see a neurologist for Alzheimer's disease. Usually most neurologists, not all, but most will say, oh, you have Alzheimer's. There's nothing we can do. Well, that's not very helpful. So find someone who can help you. My name is Noni. Hi, Noni. Thank you for putting your first name in the chat. I love your title too, Lavender Warrior. What could I do for tension migraines with aura? I don't know what tension migraines with aura are. I know aura is kind of like the concept of, we have an aura, we have an energetic aura that you can kind of see. Some people say they can see auras or feel auras. For migraines, I would want to know what's causing the migraine. Are you drinking enough water? That can be a real big deal. What's your stress level like? What's your sleep like? What's your food like? I would look at those first. So I would clean up the diet. I'd go low carb, ton of vegetables, healthy proteins, healthy fats, cut out the sugar. I mean, I'm sure you've seen people get headaches or migraines from food. Number 2, reduce the stress. If you can meditate, you can spend time outside, time in prayer, time in quiet, whatever it is. I've recently found that meditating in the morning has been really helpful for me, because mornings when I have the most things to do, and just by taking that 20 minutes and saying, no, I'm going to take this time and meditate, that really tells me, wow, I'm in control of my day and I can take the time to do this. So reduce the stress, and then sleep. Sleep is so important. Most of us do not get enough sleep. I block out 9 hours for sleep. And I'm usually asleep for about 8 of those 9 hours. I would say that's extreme, but that's on the extreme end of allowing for a lot of sleep. Most people don't even spend 8 hours in bed. Really, if you want to live a long, healthy life, almost unequivocally, good sleep is necessary, is required. There are very few people that can live healthy lives and their brain works very well on very little sleep. Those people are less than 1%. If you're one of them, that's cool. Rock on. I wish I didn't have to sleep at all. I wish I could just be up all the time, high energy, doing this stuff. That's not the human experience that I get to have. My human experience is 9 hours in bed, trying to giving my body the chance for 8 hours of sleep, and that keeps me healthy, happy, and that keeps the brain working. By the way, sleep is also really important in cleansing the brain. So actually, something called brain washing. Your glial cells. These are the support cells in the brain. These aren't the neurons. These are the support cells. They shrink at night when you sleep, and more cerebral spinal fluid can get into the brain and wash out a bunch of crap that's in there. It washes out the plaque. I think it washes out the tau proteins, which both of these are associated with Alzheimer's disease. It washes out toxins, potentially heavy metals. So you want that brainwashing every night. If you don't get good sleep, who's had a hangover? Who's had a headache for not having enough sleep? Let me know in the chat. YouTube, you too. Let me know if you've had pain in the head after not sleeping. What is that? That's your brain telling you, don't do that. That's your brain serving up pain to you, saying, hey, I like sleep. This is your brain talking to you. I like sleep. Don't do that again. Don't deprive me of sleep again. I need that. I need that to clean house. So those three things I think could help with, I'm guessing 80% of cases of migraines: diet, stress, and sleep. And then especially if you add some exercise in there and get yourself a bunch of really good hugs, it could make a huge difference. Getting more fish oils. Great, Sandy Beach. Great, great. Check on YouTube here. Laura Rhodes, PCOS and diet info, please. Fell asleep during your TikTok live. Why have you started talking about progesterone? Oh, this is cool. Tomorrow, thank you, Laura Rhodes, for asking about women's health. Tomorrow, I'm doing my second interview with Dr. Shannon. Who saw Dr. Shannon live or saw the replay? Dr. Shannon's a functional medicine doctor. She's awesome. She specializes in women's hormones and health, how they relate to brain health, but also gut health. She's awesome. And so we are going to be talking about women's health. I think she's on tomorrow night at 9:15 Eastern time. She's going to rock. So please come tomorrow, bring your questions. And then we have a free offer for her in my link tree. You might want to sign up now because tomorrow it's probably going to get filled up. You actually get to talk with a member of her team to talk about your basically hormone strategy plan. So how can we optimize your hormones for your health? One real challenge we have in health, especially women's health, is hormone optimization. What will happen is someone will go to the doctor and they'll say, oh, your hormones are in the normal range. Well, normal, but what's optimal, right? What's optimal for you and your health? I don't know those numbers specifically for you and your health, but it'd be great if medical doctors, especially endocrinologists who specialize in hormones, if they said, hey, your hormones are in the normal level, but if they're talking to me, Robert, your testosterone maybe we want your testosterone higher. We want it at 700, you're at 500. We think 700 is a better level for you. So maybe some testosterone replacement therapy. Maybe you eat more protein and exercise more and sleep better. By the way, exercise and sleep for men, I think for women as well, increased testosterone, sleep definitely for both. That would be great rather than, oh, you're in the normal range. It's okay. Also, hemoglobin A1C, which tests for diabetes. What will often happen is, let's say someone comes in, they have the HA1C of 6%. Well, the doctor might say, oh, you're pre-diabetic. No reason to worry. Come back when you're diabetic. Well, that's not good. Much better if they caught you at 5.5. They said, hey, you're almost pre-diabetic. Let's do something now, right? So catching it before it becomes the problem. Right now, medicine generally catches things when they're the problem. It's like, oh, you're diabetic. Now we're going to do something. Why don't you do something before they're even pre-diabetic, right? Catch them earlier. Anyway, Dr. Shannon's going to be here tomorrow. She's going to be awesome at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. There's a free offer for her to have a consult with her team under my Linktree profile. I'd recommend signing up for that now if you're interested, because it'll probably fill up tomorrow. So I'll let her. So Laura, Lauren, I'll let her handle those questions. I'm not an expert in women's health, and she is, and so she'll give a much, much better answer for you tomorrow. Is grass-fed beef okay to eat? I think so. People might argue with me morally, and that's okay. As far as health-wise, yes, grass-fed beef is great. I don't recommend it every day. It's probably good a couple times a week. I eat fish every day, and I will eat grass-fed beef if I can once or twice a week. And yes, it's a healthy animal protein. Moldy boy, how do mold mycotoxins impact the brain? I'm so interested in your question, moldy boy. So do you like molds? Your handle has something to do with molds. Do you have a business that deals with molds? I'm really interested to know. So generally speaking, Molds and mycotoxins are very, very bad for the brain. Dr. Dale Bredesen, in his book, The End of Alzheimer's Program, he talks about the 6 types of Alzheimer's disease. One of them is from toxins and heavy metals, specifically molds and heavy metals. So molds, mycotoxins, heavy metals, all those are bad for the brain. They can kill neurons. They can be neurotoxic. They can cause inflammation. Inflammation can cause damage to the brain, all kinds of bad things. So it's a really good idea to get your house tested for mold remediation. Do I have this here? Yeah. I told my parents about the importance of, I'm at my parents' house in Cincinnati, Ohio. My mother's going to be having a shoulder replacement soon, and she asked me to come and help out. And so I'll be here to help out around the house as she recovers. But I told them about the importance of clean air and how dirty air can contribute toxins to the lungs and therefore get to the brain, cause inflammation, cause damage to neurons. So I told them about getting HEPA filters. Check this out. So they got a bunch of these filters all around the house now. I think there's 2 in my bedroom. There's 1 here, which is my office. There's a bunch of these now because they now understand how important it is to filter out toxins from the air. So this is a really good idea, especially if you have if you live in a highly polluted area, an industrial area. Really good idea to get some HEPA filters. All right. How are we doing here? If you're just joining us, give me your first name and where you're from in the chat, and give me a roar if you're an evolving lion. And if you've been here for a while, let me know what you've learned so far. We're approaching an hour and a half here, hour and 15 minutes. I want to know what you've learned. General health, anti-inflammation. Is that what you've learned, or that's your question? Phoebe from Miami, Nadia from Dallas. Beefcake, it'll be labeled as king mackerel or Atlantic mackerel. Roar, thank you, Squeaky Cola. Awesome TikTok hat. Love it. Charla, thank you, Charla. What else have you learned? Mercury in your fish. Yes, you don't want that. Is that Purifier brand quiet? What is the brand? It's Morento, Morento. Jacob from Utah. BB from Toronto. Awesome. Gemma from Toronto. Kate from Florida. Keep waking at 3 a.m. every night. Melanie from Chicago. Grace from London. What else have you all learned? Lena from Saudi Arabia. Awesome. I love it when you all come from Saudi Arabia. It's so cool. You all are from around the world. Roar from New Jersey. Kind of now a lawsuit against Berkey. So I hope the filter's been filtering out what they said it does. At Florida. Listening helps me stay on track. Remind me why I'm doing this. Awesome. I love that. I hope, for those of you who attend the those of you who participate in the Lions Den regularly, that this is just a source of inspiration, fun, some entertainment, and just reminding you of some things you've probably already heard me say, but just helping keep you on track. And then you can hear about the progress of other people. Lower inflammation, roar. Absolutely. Lawrence from Malaysia. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kennardi. Best foods for kids. Brooklyn, New York. Fine. Sorry, from Costco. Awesome. Great job. Hydroxide. No. Hydroxide or hydrogen? Which is that, Kathy? Sam from Australia. Athena, North Texas. Undiagnosed ADHD. Laura Ray from New York City. I love the idea of preventing something. Yes, preventing before it happens. Look forward to your lives. Thank you, Kathy. Get rid of Berkey. I just did replace it with zero water. Huh, I haven't heard of those. Elrose from Australia. Quercetin brand. What is my quercetin brand? Now you got me thinking. Pardon me. One moment. Nature Bell. NATUREBELL. By the way, if you want my list of my favorite supplements, my top 10 supplements, you can get that below my link tree for free. I put together this free report for you. A lot of you ask questions about what supplements I take and where to get them and what I like. I put it all there in that free report. And you'll just go to a landing page, put your name and your email in there, and then I'll email you a copy of their free report, totally free. And I hope you can use it for your optimal health. Yeah, beefcake. So, and then for all of those watching, so the fish you want are the smash fish: salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. You want wild caught salmon. I know it's more expensive, but it's much healthy for you. And you want Atlantic mackerel, not king mackerel. Basically, all other fish are not as good for you. And so if you really want optimal fish for your brain, stick with those 5. Can you eat other fish? Yes. Are there some benefits to them? Yes. Are they going to kill you? Probably not. I would stick with these 5 as much as you can, and then any other fish, just consider it a treat, right? So if you're going to go out and you're going to get other fish because you want something different, that's okay. But don't consider them brain fish. Consider the brain fish those 5 fish that are rich in fats and low in mercury. Smash fish, exactly. BBGG. I like that. BBGG. Sherry Taryn. What was the name of the air purifier? Morento. Morento. You can find it online. What is a safe antiperspirant? Where does that go? Just a second. This is the one I've been using. It's not an antiperspirant. I don't recommend antiperspirants. The idea of an antiperspirant is really silly to me. Oh no, someone's spamming my YouTube already. This is no bueno. Come on, Google, defend my YouTube chat. So antiperspirants basically prevent sweating. I think that's a bad idea, right? Why do we have sweat glands in our armpits? Because we're supposed to sweat. By the way, the sweat in our armpits and in our crotch is different than the sweat around our body. It's actually thicker, and it attracts a different kind of bacteria, and that's what has that smell. I learned this from the book The Body by Bill Bryson. So the sweat here and down below is different, and it attracts a different bacteria, and it has a different. That's why it has a different smell to it. That's why it's a thicker smell. So this is the one that I use. It's called Hume, Hume. It was pretty expensive. This was like $10 or so, which is expensive compared to like $2. And a lady friend turned me on to this. It's pretty good. It smells nice. Low battery. We're going to have to be ending soon. So I like this. And I think it's a really good idea to minimize toxins we put on our skin. A functional medicine doctor told me, if you're not willing to put it in your mouth, I wouldn't put it on your skin. Your skin is porous. Now, how porous is it? I don't know. What gets through? I don't know. Does everything get through? Probably not. Does it matter? Probably. Your skin is your body's largest organ. I think it's really a good idea to take care of it. Also, while we're talking about this, soaps. I really like Dr. Bronner's soaps. Dr. Bronner's has been a high quality, environmentally conscious, healthy soap for decades. Dr. Bronner's, and it's Castile oil. It's really great. Dr. Dale Bredesen recommends Castile oil. Oh, by the way, after you sweat, after you either do a sauna or a steam or a hard workout, you want to shower with Castile oil and rinse off the sweat, because that rinses out the toxins, right? Because we sweat out toxins. Also, another reason to not use antiperspirants. So Hume deodorant. I like this one. I don't recommend antiperspirants. Also, antiperspirants have aluminum. There's not, from what I've seen, if you got data, show it to me. I'd love to see it. There's not a strong association between aluminum and Alzheimer's disease. People keep saying it. I've looked. I haven't seen it. I looked at dissection research from the 70s or 80s, and they dissected brains of Alzheimer's patients and regular patients. There was not an increased amount of aluminum in Alzheimer's patients compared to healthy subjects. So that relationship is not there. And I don't eat aluminum. I try to minimize my contact with aluminum. I don't put on aluminum deodorant. I don't recommend contact with aluminum. And I haven't seen the data to show the link between aluminum exposure and Alzheimer's disease. It doesn't mean that link isn't there. And it doesn't mean that aluminum is healthy for you. I'm just saying I haven't seen that. There are many good reasons to avoid aluminum, probably because we simply don't want it in our bodies. And so I think that's a really good idea. Oh, and then for shampoo and conditioner, I like Native, Native. This is a great company. It's a high quality shampoo and conditioner. A naturopathic doctor friend turned me on to it. Her name is Taylor Mitchell. I've done a number of videos with her. She told me about Native. She was so kind. We went to the store together. She's like, Robert, this is what I'm telling you about. And there's only like two left. There's only one left of the conditioner. She's like, "Oh, you can have the conditioner." I'm like, "Really?" Because we were both going to buy it. So she was very sweet. And she's got a cool TikTok channel that talks about health and wellness. Anyway, Native shampoo and conditioner. This is shampoo and conditioner I use. I use Dr. Bronner's soap, and then for deodorant, I use Hume deodorant. All right, I think we are going to say goodnight here. I'm running out of power, and we are approaching the 1.5 hour mark. This was just tons of fun. Her name is Taylor Mitchell. Let me see if I can find her. Just a moment. She recently changed her TikTok handle. Taylor Mitchell. She's gonna pop up. There she is. Her handle is Taylor Mitchell, ND, naturopathic doctor. So TAYLORMITCHELLND. That is her name. Is aluminum foil bad to use? Yeah, probably. So is unfortunately plastic wrap. You get microplastics into your body, and we're now finding that plastics are hormone disruptors. Even receipts are hormone disruptors. I read that, I think, in Dr. Stephen Gundry's book. It's like, oh man, I can't pick up receipts now? Goodness gracious. This is hard. So yes, those are, I would not wrap food in aluminum foil, and I would try not to have the plastic wrap touch it. What I like are those, what are those? The kind of the shatterproof glass Pyrex, the Pyrex with the rubber lids. I like those. No, Deb, we are not all doomed. We're doing great. We are in the most advanced society with the most advanced technology. And I mean, I'm able to talk to you here around the world for free. That's amazing. I mean, come on, let's give it up to the internet. Boy, who created the internet? Berners-Lee. To Tim Berners-Lee, to TikTok, to YouTube. I'm able to talk to people around the world and share health information for free. This is crazy cool. And so doing this, we have a shot at this. And there are so many wonderful people, especially on YouTube, that have great podcasts. I like Stephen Gundry, David Perlmutter, Max Lukavere. One of my favorites is Andrew Huberman. So I like David Sinclair. There's so many great researchers, so many great journalists, so many great science experts and neuroscientists on YouTube with great podcasts. I listened to a documentary today while I was doing my Wim Hof breathing. By the way, if you have trouble sleeping, Wim Hof is a great thing to do in the morning. It helps flood your brain with oxygen, and that can be really helpful. What I learned in this documentary, it talked about how there's this way to reduce the risk of heart disease that no medical doctor will tell you, and no large company will tell you. And I thought, well, this is interesting. What is this? He said it's donating blood. When you donate, those who donate blood have a reduced risk of heart disease. I thought, well, that's cool. And then so of course I paused the documentary and I searched this, type it on my phone, association, blood donation and heart disease. Turns out it's true. And so now I'm thinking, okay, now I need to go donate blood with my parents, right? Twice a year, donate blood. But there's a couple reasons for this. Number one, it might clean out your body. Interesting, right? Like the idea of bloodletting, turns out that was not a good idea. Just bleeding somebody, that was not good. But regularly kind of letting out a little blood to just clean out your body, that might be good. Number two, it might be a form of hormesis. Hormesis is a healthy stress. So what is exercise? Exercise is a healthy stress on your body. By stressing our body, our muscles, our heart, we actually grow back stronger and healthier. What is cold therapy? What is hot therapy? These are hormesis. These are forms of hormesis. These are healthy stressors on the body where we emerge healthier. So blood donation could be that. I don't know. Number two, donating blood is a gift. It is something that feels psychologically, emotionally good. There's tons of data to show that doing a good turn for someone, donating money, giving time to a charitable cause, these are really good things. These really improve our health. Wayne Dyer, who remembers Wayne Dyer? Give me a roar for Wayne Dyer in the chat. Let me know on YouTube if y'all remember Wayne Dyer. I was listening to one of his programs, and he shared this interesting research. He said, if you do, let's say you are at the grocery store and someone's in front of you is short on money, and you give them, let's say, $1 to pay for their groceries, that will increase the serotonin in their body. Serotonin is kind of a feel-good neurotransmitter. I think it's also a hormone as well, but it's a feel-good neurotransmitter. A lack of serotonin is associated with depression. So good deed increases their serotonin, the person receiving it. It also increases your serotonin, the person doing the good deed. So doing a good deed helps the person who's receiving it and the person giving it neurochemically. That's really cool. And this is the real kicker. Someone watching the good deed, their serotonin goes up. So good deeds help 3 people. It helps the person giving, helps the person receiving, and it helps someone watching. That could be everybody, right? Imagine if we had television shows that showed acts of good deeds. I don't know if we would get a serotonin boost or a neurochemical boost from watching it. We could certainly test that. That would be really cool. Imagine television improving all of our health by showing these real world good deeds. That would be amazing. So, so donating blood may improve health by the very fact that we are giving something and therefore doing a good deed. It might be the same health benefit as donating to a charity. I don't know, but I'm going to read more of the research. I just read headlines about it, but I'm going to read more about it. So this is really, really interesting. So I'm just about to go. Please let me know what you learned and what you're going to do in the next 24 hours. And then tomorrow we'll be on with Speed Up. You better ask me one real quick question. I've been answering questions all night. Did you just get on? Tomorrow, 9:15 Eastern, I'm going to be on with Dr. Shannon. We'll be on about an hour. And so please arrive on time for that. And then please stay for it. It's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Give blood. Yes, that's a good idea. Love makes the world go round. Absolutely, Wacky Jackie. You picked up trash today. Awesome. That's my favorite thing to do. I love walking in a neighborhood and picking up trash. I mean, does it make the neighborhood better? Yes, a little bit, but I feel the benefit, right? I pick up trash for me because it improves my health and wellness. It does much less for the neighborhood. I mean, do they notice a candy bar wrapper? Not really, but I do. Love your videos. Thank you. What time in England? I don't know. 9:15 Eastern. Eardrop, natural drop, tinnitus. That's your question? That's not a question. So tinnitus. This is the solution. This is a potential solution for tinnitus. Hydergine, Hydergine, discovered by Albert Hoffman, helps regrow nerves. It's good for the brain. It delivers more oxygen to the brain, and it helps with tinnitus. Hydergine. Give it a shot. Please record Dr. Shannon. Yes, it will be recorded. It'll be on my YouTube. By the way, log into YouTube. By the way, YouTube viewers, you're awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Please subscribe to the YouTube. The lives will be there. I just uploaded 10 of them. So 10 of the Lion's Den, those are on there. Dr. Shannon's interview will be there. Do all kinds of great stuff. So please subscribe to YouTube. That's for free. Other free resources for you. Below my profile, number one, there's a 5-minute survey that I'm doing about risk factors of Alzheimer's disease. Please take that. It'll just take you 5 minutes, and I'm trying to get at least 1,000 people to take it, and then I'm going to look at the data. It's just, it says 5-minute Alzheimer's research. Please just click that and take that. It's just super short. It'll be really helpful to me. And then I'm going to share the data with you. Next, there is my top 10 supplements. This is a free report I put out. You can sign up and get that for free. So check that out. And then there is my Huperzine A study. So this is a clinical trial that I'm running. And this is really, really important. If you have, if you are a healthy adult or you have moderate memory loss, and you want to participate in Alzheimer's research and you want to contribute to it, you can apply to participate in my clinical trial. It costs $500 to participate, and that helps pay for the study supplements. There's actually 3 supplements that you'll take for 6 months. And so by asking you to foot the bill, I'm able to get started a lot sooner, and I don't need to apply for grants from the National Institute of Health and wait for 6 months and then maybe get denied and then try to start all over. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. And then I really appreciate the people that want to participate and contribute to Alzheimer's research. It makes a big difference. If you want to contribute but you can't participate, you can also donate. That would be great. The Huperzine A trial is underneath my profile as well. That's the Huperzine A trial that you can apply for. It's an 8-month study, 6 months of study supplement. and then we'll do memory tests, and that's really cool. Now, why is huperzine A so powerful? Huperzine A increases acetylcholine. Alzheimer's brains, people with Alzheimer's disease are deficient in acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is what I call the master molecule of memory. It's involved in memory in the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain. Drugs that block acetylcholine increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. They did a study of bladder control drugs. Bladder control drugs that block acetylcholine, if you take that for more than 3 months, that increases the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 46%. Let me say that again. Drugs that block acetylcholine, if you take those for 3 months or more, that increases the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 46%. That's more than most genetic risks. That's amazing. And so huperzine A increases acetylcholine. So it's the opposite action of these drugs that increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. So there's a great potential for huperzine A, which is a natural supplement, which you can get right now. There's a great opportunity for huperzine A to help a lot of people reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. And so that's what we're studying. So if you want to participate, you want to contribute, you want to join, that's underneath my profile as well. And then subscribe to the YouTube station so you can watch this for free on YouTube. And then, yeah, that's awesome. Anything else before we go? World Cup. I don't watch the World Cup. I did when I was in Europe, and it was lots of fun. Which bladder control drugs? It's bladder control drugs that block acetylcholine. That's the big idea. Drugs that block acetylcholine. That's what you want to avoid. No, don't end it. Sorry, Naomi. It's about time. I'm running out of power. And I know it was fun when I would do like the 3-hour lives when I was in Colorado, and I'd be on earlier. Maybe I'll do that once I get to Miami. I don't know. Hydergine, Hydergine. I think that's Hydergine. Let me look this up. I might have been spelled it incorrectly. Hydergine. Yeah. Hydergine. Hydergine. When I search it, WebMD comes up. Used to treat mild problems of mood, memory, concentration, or behavior in the elderly. It's believed to increase blood flow in the brain. Also helps with tinnitus. Hydergine. All right. No, ADHD drugs don't block acetylcholine. They usually increase dopamine. Coffee for sleep? Probably not. You missed the whole live? Don't worry, Naomi. You can watch it on YouTube. I just posted the last like 10 on YouTube. Seriously, check them out there. Oh, and then tomorrow 9:15, Dr. Shannon will be here. So come and watch that. Sorry, Naomi. I wish we had the timing better. So Phoenix, huperzine A does not have possible interaction of blood pressure drugs. And then, of course, check with your medical doctor. It's really important, those who are in the study, to check with your medical doctor. All right. Love all of you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow at 9:15 Eastern time. Yes, Eastern time with Dr. Shannon, a functional medicine doctor. Good night, y'all. Roar to you. And my awesome YouTube folks, good night. Roar to you. I love you. God bless you. I will see you mañana.